Hi, I'm Heather. Welcome to class. Today we're going to practice a couple of poses that can be done as an alternative to the classic presentation of shoulder stand. The first one will be on a chair, so it will still be an inversion. The second one will be the bridge pose supported on a bolster using a couple of bricks. And that can be done as an alternative to shoulder stand when you're menstruating because it's not an inversion. Before we begin, if you find this video helpful, be sure to like and subscribe. You'll note that I have taken the mat into the wall and I have my chair a little distance from the wall. Let's say it's about a handspan width away from the wall. And I have got a folded sticky mat on the seat of my chair. Now, if you don't have two sticky mats at home, you could potentially use your mat rather than having that on the floor. You could potentially use that on the seat of the chair. We just want a bit of stickiness here so that the body doesn't slip off the chair. It's not necessary to use a sticky mat. It's definitely helpful. And the padding aspect is also really helpful. So if you aren't going to use a sticky mat, perhaps you use a blanket on the chair. I'm setting up with blankets for my shoulders. So I'm folding the blankets in half lengthways, and I want to feel that that is a good height to support my neck so that I'm not jamming the chin and I'm not jamming the back of the neck. Depending on the length of your torso as to how far away from the chair you may need to have this support. Now, it is possible to use a bolster for your shoulders rather than two blankets. I find the bolsters I have are almost too bulky, and then often that can feel as if the head's being thrown back. But in shoulder stand, we do want an expression of chin to chest, chest to chin. We can start by sitting sideways on the chair, and then as we take the legs up, you'll note you'll have the wall there and the back of the chair to contend with. So we need to come onto the side hip a little, swing the legs around, shimmy your body so that you feel that you're supported on your chair, and then you can lean back. Take one hand to the leg of the chair or to your blankets and make sure that you feel level. Left and right sides of the pelvis on the back of the chair. Now, as you come down, you need to engage the abdominal muscles. Perhaps the hands hold the legs of the chair, one elbow comes down, the other one comes down, but you're still controlling yourself with your abdominal strength. And then shoulders come all the way down to the blankets and the head onto the floor. So because of the length of my torso relative to the height of the chair, the back of my pelvis can sit quite easily on the seat of the chair. But for those who are shorter in the torso, that may not be the case. And it doesn't necessarily matter as long as you've got some aspect of the sacrum touching the front of the chair and you can feel supported there. Now, before we straighten the legs, we're going to work out what we want to do with the arms. The arms can either come inside the legs of the chair and reach to the back legs of the chair as we roll the shoulders under. Or if that feels too intense for the shoulders and you're squashing between the shoulder blades, you can still have the shoulders tucked under, but you're reaching the arms outside the legs of the chair. Just watch that the shoulders aren't untucked. You see how the shoulders are rolling forward here and the chest isn't as lifted as it could be. So find out what's going to work for you. Shoulders drawing underneath. You're standing on the tops of the shoulders. Then it may be possible to stretch the legs straight with the heels on the wall. Roll the inner thighs back towards the wall, inner feet in contact, ankle bones, big toe bones in contact. And it may also be possible to bring your legs up to the vertical And some people prefer that. They prefer to be a little more active, to have the legs up in this vertical position, ankle bones, big toe bones in contact, peeling the outer feet back towards the outer hips. Throat soft, jaw relaxed. If the legs tire when you're in the vertical position, again, you can bring one leg back to the wall, other leg back to the wall, have the heels resting on the wall, but just enough work in the legs to stop them from rolling out. As we prepare to come out of the pose, we need to release the arms and bend the knees. The feet can come onto the top of the chair, and we're sliding off the chair. So slide the shoulders off your support, bring the back of the pelvis onto your support, and the calf muscles can rest on the seat of the chair. Palms turn up, relax the body there. And then as you're ready, you can roll off to the side and come up to sit. The question may be asked, well, why would we be doing a supported shoulder stand like that? And there could be a number of reasons. One particularly is that the neck doesn't like flexing so much. Let's say there's been surgery in the neck, or there's a real stiffness in the neck, a tendency to injure the neck, and a normal vertical shoulder stand doesn't suit the neck. This can be a great alternative. And another reason we may practice this supported variation of shoulder stand is because it's a restorative pose, and that is really great to practice when we're particularly feeling tired, fatigued, etc. The next setup is for supported bridge pose, and I'm using a bolster lengthways along the mat. I've moved the mat away from the wall. I've got a couple of bricks for the feet to sit on so that the feet are about the same height as the pelvis. Now I've got one brick flat, the other one blade shape on top, and that can depend on the height of your bolster. If you've got a fairly bulky bolster, then you may want extra support. Some students find that having the height of the bolster in their upper to middle back and then shoulders all the way to the floor is uncomfortable, in which case you could put support there, a blanket underneath the head and the shoulders, so you're raising the floor up somewhat relative to the height of the bolster. But likewise, if there's a problem in the lower back, which often students do talk about when they're arching back, the lower back might feel a little bit uncomfortable, you can use a two-fold blanket, and we put that pretty much in the middle of the bolster, and that can just help to drag the buttock flesh towards the heels, lengthen the lower back, keep the tailbone moving in the direction of the heels. So we'll set up like that. I've got a belt for my ankles. I'm going to sit facing my bricks, and the distance between the bricks and the bolster really depends on the length of your body, the length of your legs. So that may be something that you need to adjust. Binding the ankles together. And if you do have two belts, you could put a second belt here around the thighs, just above the knees. But we'll dig the heels into the bricks. Lean back so you come onto the hands and draw your buttock flesh, your tailbone towards the heels. And when you lie back, you want to feel the edge of the bolster around the lower shoulder blade, just below the lower shoulder blades. So then when you come down, you're arching back, the upper back is arching so that you can come all the way down with the shoulders onto the floor. At no point do you want the shoulders on the way to the floor and staying hovering in the air. You want the shoulders all the way down to the floor so that this upper chest here is broad. And as the shoulders settle down, then the chin can soften to the chest and we can extend the legs. So we've got whether it's the ankles or the heels on the bricks. And that's where you may need to adjust where the bricks are. The belt's holding the legs, so you can let the legs rest into the belt there. Turn the palms up and allow the body to rest. So this is called supported Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. And we feel the lengthening in the front of the body, from the pubis through the navel, through the diaphragm region to the breastbone. And we observe the softening of the throat, the quietening there through the throat. Take a moment to observe your breath while you're resting in the pose. You can stay for as long as you like in this pose, but as you're ready to come out of the pose, you'll bend up the knees and bring the feet onto whether it's the bolster or the floor. Don't worry about taking the belt off just yet. We'll roll off to the side. Don't try to sit straight up, but roll off to the side and support yourself there. Make sure the head is supported. You can draw the knees up towards the chest, so that helps to lengthen the lower back. And then you can remove your belt and come all the way out. And the question may be asked, well, why would we practice that pose as opposed to a standard shoulder stand? Well, particularly if we're menstruating, because a shoulder stand is an inversion. Here, this is not considered an inversion. So it is a great alternative to do in your practice. And also, it is a restorative pose. So again, if we're feeling low in energy, we're fatigued, this can be a really great alternative to rest the body and rest the mind and soothe the nerves. If you're interested in practicing full-length classes with me, I have a video library on my website, heatherkitchenyoga.com.au. I'll put the link in the description box below. You're welcome to join with the 7-day free trial. That's it for today. Thanks for joining me. For more in-depth teaching, check out the video library on my website, heatherkitchenyoga.com.au. The link is in the description box below.